Welcome back to another episode of Ideas to Human Better. I am your host, Eva Payne, and what an absolute privilege it is for me today to interview Mike and Sharon. They are a couple who have been through a lot, like many couples who have been together for a long time, and they have a story to share, and I'm here to provide a platform for them to share that story and their healing, their challenges, and hopefully from their message you will find hope and possibilities not only in your relationships but within yourself. So without further ado, welcome Mike and Sharon, and let me give you the spotlight. Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for being willing to come on and share your story and talk about your journey with psilocybin, with each other, with your own struggles. I really appreciate you both for being here today.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's just start first with a little bit about your background, maybe where you met, your family structure, just the audience, a little bit about who you are, whatever you want to share around that. And then we'll jump into what brought you to me, how I found you both, how you found me, and your story of healing through that experience. But first, just a little bit about yourselves.
So I'll start and then Mike can fill in how he found you. Mike and I we had children from other relationships, and our two oldest children were in kindergarten class together. And my daughter, her birthday's in October, and she invited Mike's son to her birthday party. And that's how he got my phone number, and after lots of different conversations, we went on a date probably a month later, and we connected, and we got married in less than a year after our first date.
So like 25 years ago,
Yeah.
around this time of year, everything.
Yeah.
That's when I got lucky.
And I love that you still call her your bride. You're always like, let me check with my bride. Let me check.
She's either my bride or my lover. And we've got a blended family. So oddly enough, we used to just say babe, and our kids hated that. And they told us, why you guys are saying babe this, babe that? So she's my lover and I love her. So I call her lover. And I call her my bride because she's, I don't know, I just see her that way. That's just who she is to me. She'll always be my bride.
So we have Mike brought into our relationship two boys, and I had my daughter, and we got married within the year. And then about 3 years after we got married, we decided to have a child together. And so we have our son, whose birthday is today. So It's a really good day today.
Yeah. Today is also my 4-month anniversary from my journey.
Yeah.
So really awesome.
Yeah.
Good day today. And it is October 13th, it's Friday the 13th. 13 is actually like a really beautiful number in the cosmos. So thank you so much for coming on your son's birthday and spending some time with me here. I really appreciate that too.
Yeah.
So a little bit about your background, Mike, and what brought you to me. How did you find me? How did you find the Flow Life Retreat? And what even got you interested in looking up psilocybin? How did that come into your life? And what were your thoughts maybe prior to doing some of the research around it?
I don't know. I think we just stumbled on a documentary about there was like 4 so different psychedelics that they tried, and how it helped a guy get over ADD and helped another guy just deal with life, and just interested me because I always felt a struggle to stay normal, whatever normal was. I can't define that anymore, but I always felt like I was, just outside of the expectation. I had a real tendency to self-destruct. Like things would be going great, and then all of a sudden I'd just blow out of control with whatever. I was, just get angry or just shut down, or I don't know. just always kind of struggled with that and always felt I was not good enough and really hard on myself. I was my worst critic and just really had trouble with a blended family, to be honest. I was a terrible father to my stepdaughter and was really not a great dad to my own kids and there wasn't a lot of hugs and loves, kisses, or as much as I feel there should have been. And so I started going to a men's group to try to get help with that. And my boys ended up moving and living with their birth mother for a couple of years in high school. And that really killed me. I had my boys, I'd call and just couldn't have a conversation. I'd be like, how's it going? Good. What's going on? Nothing. How's school? Okay. It was like one word answer. So real hard to continue a relationship with somebody that way. And from there, I did build a better relationship with my daughter. I chose to do one thing intentionally, which was for her. We met for lunch once a week. And anybody that's trying to meet up with their teenage daughter for lunch, give it about an hour before they're going to start talking and before you can work. So you don't plan on squeezing it in your hour lunch at work. Take an extra hour off that day and just enjoy that first hour with your food. And then the second hour, you can then they kind of let down. The teenagers kind of let their guard down. So Sharon and I, we've also volunteered with church youth group because we like kids. And when our son Nicholas started going through the church stuff, I don't know, I just felt safer if I was there. So I volunteered to go on a kids retreat or like a weekend getaway. And the lady loved me in that role, and I did it for I don't know a long time. And then Sharon started doing it like 2 years after I did. And kids just like us. I'm not sure why. But I always felt like, like being around kids helped me. I coach soccer, and just feeding off the energy of the kids was how I kept myself positive. Other than that, I was just really always felt alone, felt sad and depressed and ashamed and afraid. Started having anxiety, started having suicidal thoughts. It's all just things that I self-judged. I would have conversations with myself on the way to work, just of things of how I thought they were going to go or how I thought they should have went. And a full-blown conversation with myself, and it was all negative, and it was all about me. And I knew that needed to change because there was the side of me that everybody else saw that was like, no, he's the nicest guy, he's the greatest guy. And I'm like, I can't see that guy. I could not see that guy, look myself in the eyes and just break down crying, not understanding how people could see that. Maybe people outside my family saw it, and I think at the time my kids and my wife struggled with seeing it too because I was such a negative person. I was critical of everybody in the house. I did learn that through men's group that I'm an estimator at work, and in that I got to control everything. I have to control the budgets. I have to control the labor in order for the company to make money and for people to get profits to feed their family extra and all the bonuses and that type of thing. So I took that same mentality home with me, and it was destructive. It was killing my family, trying to be that critical of getting my wife to fit in a box or getting my kids to, just do the things that I thought they should just do on their own. They're teenagers. They should do their own homework. They should clean their own stuff and take care of themselves. And it was just unrealistic, but I just thought if you put enough fear in them that they'll do it. And it just consumed me, just really, really consumed me. So I knew I needed change after I saw the psychedelic thing. How Google does. You say something, and before you know, oh wow, this pops up in front of me. And luckily, you popped up on Instagram, and
yeah. And it's weird. When Mike told me that he found you on Instagram, I was like, I think I saw her video like a couple days ago, and we looked at your website, and I'm like, yes, that was you. And what captured me from your video is the calmness, the peace, just the joy that you exude. And I was like, wow, this is so incredible, this lady. We've got, and then Mike saw your website and saw you on Instagram, and I was just, I don't know if you want to go forward with after that.
Yeah, so that is how we found you. But
Okay,
that
wait,
is
let me ask you a question first before you move forward. So Sharon, my question for you is, was Mike always this way? Like when you met and you were dating, did you see this critical side? Did you see this, or was that something that kind of he grew into more? Or was there a catalyst for that? Or like, what was that like? I'm just
He
curious.
was more of a strict parent than I was. So I saw it that way for quite a while. But after the years, we had um, a lot of struggles with other things, not between Mike and I, but other things. And it just negatively impacted our family. And I think over time, um, Mike's negativity crept in more and his anxiety, depression crept in more. It was like a slow um, increase. And sometimes he would get a little bit better. And then there was ebbs and flows. Sometimes it was pretty good and sometimes it wasn't. And like counseling helped, the men's group helped to a certain way, but nothing like the last 4 months have. And we just had a family situation last year and it just snowballed. Um, Mike's outlook on life, and I just couldn't. I'm like a helper. I like helping people, and it got to the point where I couldn't help him anymore. I couldn't. There wasn't anything I could do to make life better, easier, and it was just, yeah, like probably a little over a year ago, I was contemplating not being with him anymore because it got to be really hard.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you for your honesty and just like being so open about that. I know that's not easy, and so many couples, they just keep going. Like they don't know what to do. And it just seems so complicated either way. Staying together, not staying together. It's like there is no path. That seems like a good option at
uh-huh.
some. And so, so what then was the catalyst for the change, for like saying we need something more than what we have been given?
Sure.
so we were actively going to counseling with a lady who was amazing, better than anybody that we'd seen as far as getting us to own our own shit. Sorry, no other way to say it, because that's what it was. It was just our own nastiness that we picked up through life, through relationships, through experiences. But I got to a point where I was also, after we had a good issue with our kids living in the house with us, I wanted out of the marriage. I filed for a divorce. I was that upset, that angry, that hurt, whatever you want to call it. We worked through that through counseling, but it was not.
Like a lot of
It was like we
things.
were back to where we were, but that wasn't good. And I always had like, I don't know, like you said, what you're thinking, because I'm going to go into it. I like it.
Well, I mean, like Mike and I, we haven't had like a terrible marriage by any means. Like we always thought we had a good marriage. We just had so many struggles, so many things that um, outside things happen that impacted us. Um, and we always thought, for the most part, we did have a good marriage, but that last year just threw us for a loop. And like Mike was saying, going to counseling did help, and it was slow. There was a lot of work to do, but the core still, it just, we still had our baggage, we still had our old trauma, and that still was there. And the counseling gave us tools to help.
Yeah, it gave us tools to get along, I would say. Tools to get along enough to try to work towards loving each other the way we loved each other for a lot of our marriage. But I always used divorce as a weapon. I'd been divorced before. I was in a previous marriage. That's how I have my two sons. And I felt I was doing everything there. And if I'm doing everything, I'll go on my own. And I was in that same kind of mentality, all about me. So, and I don't even like myself. So I got to the point where I didn't like myself enough that I tried taking my life more than one occasion, but this particular occasion, I was convinced by a voice in my head that everything was going to be okay. You don't have to worry about your life. You don't have to worry about your kids. Everything will be fine. Go ahead. And so I grabbed a tie in the middle of the night from my closet and wrapped it around my neck. And I tied it around the back of the door because I just wanted to kind of, I didn't I'm a big pussy, I guess. I don't know. I didn't want it to be painful. I just wanted to lean into it and go peacefully. And Sharon says she heard me say goodbye. And I went into this place where it was total darkness and there was no more voices telling me I was a failure. I failed at this, failed at that. I was no good. That negativity, that self-hate was not playing in my head. And then I wake up to a wife that is very unhappy with me and yelling at me, what the expletive, what the heck, are you fucking serious? And it was, it was hard for me because I'm like still trying to wrap my head around like, wait, I thought I'm done. I thought, why would you do that to me is what I was thinking in my head. Something told me that wasn't the right thing to say. Went from that to an ultimatum within seconds that you can either go to the hospital or you could go to the retreat you've been looking at. And I honestly, in the case I was at, I was such a mess. I was like, I'll probably never get up if I go to the hospital. They'll keep me there. There's enough wrong with me that they'll keep me in the hospital for the rest of my life. So I chose the retreat because the other thing is I don't like man-made medicine. I like earth's medicine. So I've always tried to be that way with a lot of things. And I don't know, I made the call and talked to you, and like you were so kind, so understanding, and so welcoming and loving that I went from thinking about it, checking things out, to I'm definitely going in that same phone conversation.
Well, and then when we looked at the retreat dates, there was one coming up in a couple of weeks. He's like, oh, I don't think I can do it in a couple of weeks because work and, all the excuses. And he was going to go in November. And then after talking to you, you were like, why are you waiting? Why are you waiting?
Yeah.
And so
I'm grateful for you asking that question, but ironically, I am still going to that retreat. I'm just not going as a participant. I'm going to help men and reach out to any man that has been there and just thought, I'm good not living anymore. I'm good checking out. I'm good, whatever. Don't make that choice. Don't make that choice. Because there's such a better way to live. There's such a happier way to live. And you couldn't have explained that to me. I went into the retreat doubting it was going to work.
Sharon, I want to ask you in that moment, I mean, for you to say you're either going to this retreat or you're going to the hospital, what gave you the faith that the retreat would even work?
Just watching the documentary we watched a year prior, and Mike had been researching it a lot, different avenues. I had been also researching. We share stuff all the time through Instagram, and after we looked at your Instagram and the website,
The YouTube video.
I just knew that it would help him. And I really was hoping he would choose the retreat over the hospital, but I was giving him a choice, and
Yeah.
I'm glad he chose the retreat. It's changed our lives. Yeah.
Us too. You guys have changed our lives in so many ways. That first night, Mike, when you were sitting down at dinner and you shared this story with us. I mean, I maybe you had mentioned suicidal ideation in our call, but I don't really remember that. And then you were
Probably a
so
little bit.
that night at
Mhm.
dinner, and I remember just looking at Dream, who I co-facilitate the retreats with, and thinking like, okay, universe, this is where we're at, huh? This is that you're trusting me. Like this is a lot of responsibility. And I'm like, please medicine work, because I mean, we see it work in a lot of people. But I didn't know if this was going to be the answer that you needed. And I just was like, oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. I hope this
Um,
works. And even for you getting to the retreat was a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was a nightmare. I woke up. Yeah, yeah, I did wake up late. I wanted to leave it through. I woke up at 4, so I'm like, oh, I won't have any spare time because I try to at least leave an hour early in case something happens or whatever. But got out, had my work phone and my cell phone, and I got on my phone trying to find. I was just driving. I'm like excited to go, and all of a sudden it went from being excited to go and freaked out that I'm going to be late to just a whirlwind of all this. You can't make it because my map on my phone was sending me somewhere completely different from where my brain thought the direction I needed to go. And so I threw that phone down, all angry, grabbed my work phone, and proceeded to use that map. And it was doing even worse directions. And I'm like, really? I got to go do a U turn and come back the way I'm already going. So I was just upset, went and grabbed my other phone back, tried calling Sharon. She didn't answer, tried calling her back.
Still sleep.
Yeah. And then I called you. I was just calling to say, hey, I'm sorry I can't make it. I am just a mess, and I couldn't tell north from south. And I'm very good with directions and very good with knowing where I'm going and planning how I'm going. And
Yeah, Mike used to be a truck driver, so he knows the road.
yeah.
And for him to be lost is just unbelievable. Yeah.
So yeah, I called Eva, and she's like, "It's okay," the calmest voice ever. And I'm thinking, I'm losing it here. How is she so calm? But you were just super calm and said, "Hey, you'll get here when you get here, and take your time. I'm going to send you something to listen to." And that was the perfect thing for me to listen to. That his voice is just different enough that it caught my attention, and picked up my phone after I started listening to that. Did the map thing, and it had routed me the way I thought I should be going, and I just started driving.
Yeah. Then you almost got in an accident.
Well, yeah,
almost died.
Yeah, I sent Sharon a picture how beautiful it was in Colorado. I just got there, and then minutes later, it was like slush, and it looked like rain, but slush was coming down. And I'm like, why are all these people going so slow? I'm a driver, right? So I get over, and all of a sudden, my truck's like sideways, and I'm like, okay. And then I went in the median for a little bit, and the guys that I'm passing are looking at me, and I'm just like, but anyways, someone was watching out for me because I got back on the road, slowed down, got back behind those people. Within minutes, it was sunny again. And anytime it started to sprinkle a little, I just slowed down. My heart's still beating. So it's just, it's a crazy thing because, to think that I wanted to take my life, something almost took my life, and yet I really needed to get to Colorado to experience this because I just felt it was going to work. I felt like it was really going to work. I was terrified that it wasn't, and I was terrified for spending money on myself. I was terrified for I was just afraid that I was wasting money. I was afraid that I was taking time off of work unnecessarily, and you know, it all there was a lot that happened, but it all led me to you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it couldn't have been. And I kind of thought, okay, this retreat, I did think it was going to help him, but not as much as it did. Like, he's
yeah.
a new man. He's the man I married. It's, it's
So
just so
let's
beautiful.
talk a little bit about that. Let's talk a little bit about your journey, just kind of a synopsis of what that was like for people maybe who don't understand. And then Sharon, I'd love to hear from you on the changes that you did see in him.
Yeah.
So my journey is interesting because, like I said, I part of me did not believe it was going to work. So yeah, after the first hour, I wasn't sure that it was working. So I did the second dose, and then still kind of felt like I was so wrapped up in the fact that I had not eaten because I love to eat, and breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. But I was so wrapped up in not eating, I kept asking, every time I felt somebody new sitting with me, I'm like, hey, uh, is anybody else hungry? Because I don't think this stuff's working. I don't want to lay around all day doing nothing. I'd really like to get something. Everybody's like, I think it's working. Put your eye shades in, relax. So I just did that little bow for a little bit. But then I had to eat. I was annoying enough that I got to eat. And then you moved me to the couch. I got my eye shades on and just started having all those words that were consuming me and destroying me. And then I had the words that I would use when I'm coaching or I'm trying to encourage somebody or trying to help a man that's struggling in his marriage or somebody that's me. And just started having them come to my mind, and I'm like, okay, I need to decide here what is beneficial for me and what is not. So I'm like, beneficial, not benefit. You have a video of me, and I'm just like, that was my experience, was just running through situations and words that I needed to understand what is good for me. And then I got to a point where, oh, it's not just what's good for me, it's what's good for somebody else, because when somebody something a bad name, not necessarily bad for me, but I started realizing, well, that's not good for whoever's on the receiving end. So I had a whole new group.
Oh, hold on a second. I think I lost you. Give me a second here. I'm waiting to see if they pop back in. One of the things about Mike's journey that was so interesting as we wait to see if they're oh, here we go. Let's see. I think they're trying to reconnect. Oh, here we go.
Sorry.
Here we go. Okay, sorry, lost you there for a second.
So where did I end?
You're going, hoo-hoo. Like,
Oh, was
Okay.
I sorting out my words? So I sorted out my words. I really sorted out situations. So I had went at this point. I had a granddaughter that was 3 months old. Had not seen, had not cared to see. Did not care to see my daughter. Had not cared to see my son-in-law. I was fine with that. I was planning on going the rest of my life. In fact, I went to the retreat not wanting to work on that, wanted to work on everything else except that. But that came to me and got me to a point where after the retreat, I went to uh, up to Colorado, a little farther in Colorado, spent time with my son near Denver, and just kind of had heart to heart with him. Just had great conversations, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what? Because I didn't have all that noise. I didn't have all that negativity and hate and shame and regret. And I was just able to have the conversations and say, I really screwed up. And, I really learned that this was, this is this and that and that. And I just feel lighter. I just feel like I'm not carrying any of that. And I can breathe. And had a great time with my son and his girlfriend. And ended up on my way home just saying, I need to stop by and see my daughter and see my granddaughter and make amends and do the right thing. And I thought, if I'm going to start with this integration stuff, bringing what I've learned into my life and making it real, why wait?
Yeah.
So I went there, and that was a little challenge because I still had that, she was nursing or something and didn't come open the front door. And I thought she just wasn't going to come to the door because her husband wasn't home yet. And maybe she didn't want to see just me by herself or what. I didn't know. But in my head, I said, you know what? I can't deal with this. I'm leaving. So I left. And Ashley, if you're watching this, hey, surprise, I left. Uh, and then about 10, a couple minutes into it, I turned around, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I drove out of my way to come to see her baby and just turned around and was like, that was the first time that I stopped myself and challenged myself to know
Mhm.
that's irrational thinking. And you push that to the side. Take a look at it, own what you're feeling, and realize, is it going to benefit you or is it going to benefit the people that you want it to or not? And it wasn't. So I pushed it aside, went back and just shared everything with her that I learned in my journey about her. And I came out with a message that I can choose to love my daughter regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the influence, regardless of any external situations. And since then, I've learned that it's not just her I can choose to love. I can choose to love everybody for who they are, and there's nothing that can change that if I set my mind to just wanting to be the love in the environment I find myself in that day. I attribute that 100% to the medicine. So,
And ever since then, we've seen her like every 3, 4 weeks, and she lives almost 4 hours away from us, so it's not easy. They're not in the same town, but and every visit, it is beautiful, wonderful, loving, so fun, and it's the best. It's the best.
It
And
was really beautiful watching Mike's journey because he was therapying himself. Like that's the thing about this medicine is we as the sitters take care of your human vessel. And Mike would say, I think I need to go to the bathroom behind the eye shades. I just would wait a second. And then if he said it again, I'd say, okay. And then I'd come over and it's like, do you need to go to the bathroom? You're like, yes, I do. We'd help him get there and then go back into the eye shades. And it was a lot about your daughter, a lot about your granddaughter. And you'd even say, like, am I talking out loud? Well, what does it matter? And it was just you processing through. And you did say a lot, I can love her. I can love them anyway. It's okay. I can love them. I can love them. And that you were rewriting that story for yourself. And it's so lovely that you didn't wait, that you just went right away to go mend that relationship or at least make the effort to mend that relationship. So you get home and then if, over the next few weeks, Sharon, what do you observe in him?
just, I think it was maybe the first or second night he was home. We take our dogs out to this open field and let them run crazy and go for walks with them. And Mike was amazed that he had no negative recurring thoughts running through his head. He said, because he's always told me he just has thoughts that recycle through his mind over again all day long. When he goes to bed, when he wakes up in the morning, it's just going crazy all the time. And he was just amazed he didn't have that. His mind was clear. We could take the walk. We could enjoy being outside and it being beautiful, and we could see trees and everything was beautiful, and he could enjoy it in peace. And that was like the biggest thing is the negative in his brain was gone. And then as had gone on, I noticed he kept on saying, like, if something were to come up, he'd be like, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. That was like a recurring thing for him to say. And it doesn't matter. It's going to be okay. And our house has just been so peaceful and so loving and kind. And um, it's amazing. he's not critical, he's not negative, because he would, and I guess I just got used to it, like just looking at something outside or driving down the road, he would always look at something on the negative,
Mhm.
and that's not happening anymore. And it's been 4 months, and it's still just so
Yeah.
great.
Well, it's like his truth was able to come out and he's able to live in that place. And so now he's creating from that place, right? Every day from that place of gratitude and putting his awareness on the beauty of things and not the negativity. And so those are the pattern now that, he's creating, that you're creating, Mike, and it's beautiful. It's so
Yeah.
lovely to see. And that's the integration work, because the medicine shows you what work is yours to do, and then you have to do the work, and you have been doing it. Not only do you send
Mhm.
Dream and I positive texts and how great we are, I'm like, you're like the nicest person ever.
I know. And
I see how
Mike,
you support the other people in your life too.
Mike can be the most supportive, and he knows what to say to someone if they're having a hard time. He is so encouraging and so loving. And that's like the essence of Mike that I fell in love with and continue to fall in love with him all the time. That goodness in him. And I've always had like hope that that would overcome the negative, and it's reality now. Um,
Yeah, I have to be real also and just say there are setbacks and I do still stumble, like especially last night, for instance. So our happy marriage does still have issues. But so normally if we had a disagreement or something, I would say, point out every single negative, every single critical of that situation, go home, just be to myself or complain about it all night long. And then the next day, and then the next day, or shut down. If I shut down, I was silent treatment. That was my go-to. But like last night, I just kind of got a lot of things, probably three things off my chest, a lot of things. So now my a lot of things are not like a whole head full of things, or two or three things. So I went, I'm like, I'm gonna go walk the dogs. So got ready to take the girls, but they were being annoying as well. I couldn't even open the door. They were wanting to get out so bad, and I'm just like, I'm done. So I went to yell at them. They ran in the bedroom, peed on the bed. I'm like, now I can't even go to bed. And so I'm losing it. I'm like, I'm spinning out of control. Dude, you need to go to bed. And I, I did. I took the sheet off, threw it in the area of the washing machine and dryer, and just went to bed. And normally, I would wake up the next day in that anger. I would go to bed in that anger and wake up in that anger. I did do some breathing last night to help fall asleep, and took some magnesium. Also helps me calm down. So I have some magnesium powder that I took to help me fall asleep. But I wake up and it's like a new day, and I know I've never had that. I've never had that. I would always wake up with like lingering anger from the next day or full on rage from the next day. And now I just have this peace and I'm like, oh, I got a new opportunity and I believe that I got a new opportunity and I do have a new so it's not just falling into, I mean, like I stumble, but the next day it's not a continuation like it was. It's like I realized that, hey, do I want that? Is that beneficial? No. Is it beneficial for Sharon? No. Is it beneficial for Nick? No. And I woke up happier than the day that I normally do. So it's like I went from being on such a bad point to such a high in the morning. Yeah.
and for me, as his wife, I can confidently, like in the past, I would kind of go into anxiety and panic, like, oh gosh, I have to deal with this again. And last night I'm like, okay, whatever. He's going to bed. He'll be fine tomorrow. And I just was productive. I did dishes and laundry. I washed the sheet, and you're welcome. And I went to the grocery store. I mean, I was like super productive last night, and I was fine. I wasn't upset or fearful of tomorrow, and I didn't feel like I needed to go in there and fix Mike. Like I think, because like I said earlier, I'm always trying to fix things. I'm the helper, and I think in the past I would have gone in there at some point, tried to wake up Mike and talk to him, and tried to make everything okay, because I can't stand to have things not okay,
Yeah.
and because that gives me anxiety. But I was good. I was fine. I got to bed at a decent hour. I got to bed. I went to sleep, no problem. And in the past, that wouldn't have happened at all.
So Sharon, let me ask you then, you came to our alumni retreat and decided to have a journey. You saw the benefits that
Yeah.
it did for your husband, and you
Mhm.
thought, okay, I'm guessing, okay, what can this do for me?
Yes,
Can this help me? So
exactly.
I'd love to hear a little bit about your experience with the medicine and then how it's helped you. And how many, we're only a few weeks out, right, from your
Yeah.
journey. So it's
So
not
2 to
4 months,
3
but
weeks.
how have you
Yeah.
seen yourself shift?
Yeah. It's only been a couple weeks. So, you had the alumni retreat. Mike was going to go, and he had asked if it was okay if I joined in. And our anniversary was in September, so he was like, "Let's go do an anniversary trip and go on this retreat." And I was 100% for it. And I, because I saw how good it did for Mike, I was like, I want to see what it could do for me.
Mm.
And um, it was what?
The intention.
The intention?
Your intention.
What about it?
You're telling the long version.
Oh, sorry.
You're,
I was a long story of everything. Sorry.
It's
So
all
my
good.
intention, what?
I said no sorries. It's all good. I'm here for it.
So it took me a while to figure out what my intention was going to be. Like for Mike, it was easy, let go of anger and all that. For me, I was like, okay, I don't really have a lot, huge hangups. I don't have huge problems, that I was thinking, but I'm kind of an introvert. I'm kind of shy. I am awkward talking to people sometimes that I don't know. So I went into the intention of being able to communicate better. So this is kind of funny that I'm talking and going on and on. But so I think that was a big part of my intention, is to be able to communicate better. And since the retreat, because I'm a manager at work, so I'm a senior manager. I have 3 managers under me, and then each of them have 3 to 4 people working under them. And just alone at work has been amazing. I've had so many good conversations. I've had some tough conversations, and they've been easy though. I haven't struggled with what to say, how to say it, how to be respectful. I always want to be respectful and positive to people. And I've had so many awesome conversations. People that, like, higher ups, I've been kind of awkward talking to them. I don't know why. I don't know what the root cause of my awkwardness, but I've had great conversations with them, and great conversations with family members. Like, there's been a couple things where I've normally been afraid to talk about, or how do I address this? And I've addressed it. I've been able to talk about it, not have anxiety or fear. I've done it lovingly. It's just amazing. So that was my biggest intention, is to have better communication, and it just did. And the other thing was, I've always had kind of a low self-esteem, and in my journey, and my journey I think was completely different than Mike's. We had I saw visions and just beauty and love, and I the first hour of the journey, I had this overwhelming, beautiful love for Mike. It was the most beautiful thing I felt. And at one point, I wanted Mike to come over and hold my hand. And because I had my eye shades on, I couldn't see him, but I kept on like touching his arm, and then I'd go up to his shoulders and then his face because I wanted to see him with my hands. And I just was overcome with the the most love for Mike and just a deep, deep connection. I mean, I always feel, anyways, that we're connected and we have a great connection, but it was just the most beautiful feeling I've ever felt towards him. And it just solidified my love for him and that he's my person. And just I want to be with him forever. Like I already felt like that anyways, but it was no questions. We're supposed to be together forever. And that was so beautiful. And then towards the end of my journey, um, I had this vision of me because I kind of lack self confidence a little bit and accepting myself and being worthy. And towards the end of my journey, I had envisions of there's a picture of me when I was probably 2, standing in a pool with my belly sticking out because I had a bikini on. And the message that I was getting is that I'm beautiful the way I am and that I am special the way I am. And I offer I, the things I can offer to this world are unique and I should be proud of them. And I don't need to change um, because I've always wanted to be able to speak like Mike. And in my journey, it was told that I don't need to be like Mike. It's okay that I'm a little shy and because I have other really good qualities. And so um, just the self acceptance
Yeah.
was also unbelievable and overwhelming. And yeah, so it was such a positive, beautiful thing. And, huh?
All the people.
All the people. Oh, and yeah, so another thing that coming to the retreat, the love that I felt there, the hope and the acceptance and just the everyone was so beautiful and loving. And I've never been around a group of people where everybody, it was like they were my love family. And I because I can't really say family because families can fight and have disagreements, but everyone, I just connected with everybody and everyone was so beautiful and accepting. And everyone comes from backgrounds with trauma or something, and there was no judgments. And just the love is just unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
what you guys have put together is just the most amazing experience I could have ever had in my life. Most It's just incredible.
I think we're good at creating a space where people can be authentic and
Yeah,
just themselves. And we don't do that enough in this life. We don't connect enough with ourselves and with one another. And that's our nature. That's I think that's who we are as human beings. And so when we create a space where you can just show up as yourself, whatever that is in the moment, and everyone's just doing that and there is no judgment, that's our perfection. That's human beingness in our perfection. And that's why I think it felt so connected, as all these people have done some work. They've all been
yeah,
through a journey. They all know like the depths, and it was just so lovely to be able to witness your love and having everyone around while you went into that journey. It's like you could just feel as much love as you have for him and as much love as he has for you, that entire group of people could just be a part of that, to witness that. And, energetically on some quantum field, I don't know, maybe we were just like sending you both so much love. And it was just like, I can't believe I get to experience this right now. I get to watch this wholeness. Like, if every couple could go through this, if every couple could really connect in this way and be there for each other, for Mike to be able to be right next to you, at a baseline while you're going into this journey, and just that love and concern and hope that he had for you. It's just so, it's like watching a miracle unfold in front of you, and it was so, thank you so much for letting
Thank
us
you.
be part of that, and letting the group of us hold that space for you while you slipped into that journey over the first hour. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, I can tell you that it wasn't just the people on the outside feeling it, because I didn't want to interrupt her journey at all. I didn't want to be any part of her journey. I wanted her to do whatever she needed to do on her journey, because I needed to do what I needed to do. So I didn't want to interrupt. And at one point, Garrett had said, "Hey, dude, you can go over there by her." And I'm like, I'm not. And then it was weird because I started to my chest started to shake, and I'm like, wow, I almost feel like she's gonna cry or laugh, and then she would smile or frown, and I'm like, wow, I'm really tapped into this. And just when you guys said I could go over to her, I wanted to get up and walk over to her, but I just felt like stuck to the ground and just reached out for her. And oddly enough, I've learned since then, because she shared about her journey. At that point in time, she was feeling like she was floating, so she was trying to grab the ground to feel that she was still on the ground. And I'm like, that has to be why I was crawling over to her like I was diving in the Sahara Desert with no water. But yeah, I could feel when she was going in, when the medicine was starting. I could look at her fingers, I could watch her lips, and that's how I knew she needed some chapstick or what. I'm like, I felt super, super connected, and I have been on that same level since then. And like she said, we've always been close, but it's a supernatural closeness. It is an electric connection. It is energy force, like you said. It wasn't something that just people on the outside were feeling. I felt it too. Um, and I still feel that with everybody that was there in that experience. I still feel super, super close to those people. Like, I've known them forever. I just wanted to make sure I spent time with everybody and had a conversation with everybody, because I wanted to know more, and just walked in there feeling like just long lost friends. But I
Yeah.
can't feel any other way.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful how that mycelium works, like when you think about the network and how trees know this tree needs some water, let's send some over. This tree needs this, like just the network underground, the communication that happens. And I think these medicines help us to connect those neural pathways. Like, I believe we are telepathic beings, and we've really lost that connection to just look at someone and know what they need. And when you're already close to someone, you can already pick up on each other's vibes just because you live together all the time. But then engaging with this medicine, it like heightens those connections. I'm curious if, now that you've been home for a few weeks, what changes have you seen in your relationship within yourself? Has it helped you to become even closer together? Do you feel, Sharon, that that you've got the change that intention that you were hoping for? And how has your relationship maybe improved?
Oh yeah, our relationship has improved. Like, I can just look in Mike's eyes, and there's this electric buzz chemistry going on, and it's like, when you meet someone right away and have that connection, and that excitement, that's like how I'm feeling again. Um and I wanted to say that the integration work I've been doing since then, going outside, grounding myself, I have this overwhelming, like electric buzz that goes through my body. And it's like this high that lasts for almost the whole day. And I haven't taken any medicine. I haven't eaten anything. I haven't done anything. And I have this, it's like I drank like 10 cups of coffee and it's crazy. And I just feel so connected, so energized. And I've been more productive at home and more productive at work. My work is really busy, and I just can get all this stuff done at work. And um, nothing really bothers me at work. It's no big deal. And, if I can get stuff done, I can get stuff done. If not, tomorrow is a new day. And, but I'm getting so much done. But I feel, yeah, so much closer to Mike, and going through this together, the feeling like you can't even explain it really to people that haven't done it. It's just the most amazing thing I've ever felt and gone through. And to be able to share that with Mike, do our integrations together, research things, do our breath work.
Yeah, we've connected more. It seems like Sharon's waking up more around when I would normally wake up, and we're going to bed closer to the same time. And it's not intentional. It's not like, hey, it's bedtime. Let's go to bed. It's just things aren't. They're just unspoken things that happen. It might sound stupid, but we both went to the gym, two different gyms, two different things, packed two different bags, but we both forgot to pack socks. So
Yeah,
the
like
synchronicities in life, it's just, I don't want it to be explained. I'm enjoying it, and I'm happier than I've ever been in my life.
And what was I gonna say? Yeah, the connection, like, yeah, you can't explain it. There's no way to explain it. It just is happening. And like within a couple days of us getting back home, we went to Costco. If nobody knows what that is, it's a big warehouse store. And we are checking out, and it's super busy, a ton of people all the time. And I'm checking out, and I turn around, and there's this little girl in a cart right behind me. And she was like trying to get my attention, trying to get me to say hi. And I'm like, oh, hi. And, it was cute. And then we walked away, and Mike was saying, she really, really wanted your attention. She wanted to talk to you. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, maybe it's the purple in my hair. And Mike's like, no, it was more than that. It was something you can't explain. But she really wanted to connect with me. And
well, so part of Sharon's one intention was that she would be more approachable. And I'm like, I don't know how that's going to work because you can't influence someone else from your journey. And I'm like, babe, you might want to like expand on your your intention. And I just feel like that's what that was. She was just so approachable that girl just could not say hi to her. She was just like, hi. And Sharon's looking at her seat like, whoa, like, where'd that come from? And yeah, she saw it being, her hair, and I saw it being something more beautiful. Just a connection that some little girl saw something so real that she couldn't pass by without saying hi.
but I've also noticed, like, going to other stores or being out in the general public, usually I just do my own thing. I don't pay attention to anyone. I don't even notice a lot of things going on. But it seems like I'm having more conversations with people, the cashier or a worker somewhere.
Yeah, when we went out to eat.
Oh yeah, we
Sure, but we just made small talk with the waitress, and she told her whole story to us.
Yeah,
It's just been amazing.
Yeah, like not just between Mike and I or our kids, but it's out in the public.
People.
And
Yeah.
it's so
Because your
amazing.
hearts are open, that's the thing. It's like when your heart's open, just like when you watch the video, right? Whatever video you watched of me or Instagram, and you just sense a calm, a peace, an openness. That's what people are sensing in you, whether, especially little people. I mean, they're so open. They're like, wow, I'm here. I'm a human, And then they see an adult and they're like, oh, your energy. They don't know your aura. There's something about you that they're just like, wow, that person's great. And I love it. I love that you are connecting with people. You don't even know the impact that you're having just by being here, by being open, by not being closed off and so distracted and in your own story and in your own stuff, when you just go out into the world and you're like, okay, who's coming into my circle of awareness, and how can I spread a little bit of love and cheer and hope, and simply just walking by someone. You're operating at a higher frequency, and so it's like a magnet. Like, people are just like drawn into that space. It's like that's the healing power of these medicines. They just open our hearts to what's possible for ourselves and for humanity. I'm so grateful for them. I'm so grateful for both of you too. Thank you so
We're
much
so grateful for you.
Thank you.
coming on this journey, for trusting yourselves along the way, and trusting me and Dream and the team of people that we have, whoever we have at those retreats. A lot of times former participants like Mike coming back to help at the men's retreat in November. It's just so beautiful, because it's not, I shouldn't say it's not hard, but it's not hard. If you have it in you to sit and love someone, then you can do it for someone else. You can be that sitter. It's just like having an open heart, allowing someone to have their journey, and checking on their human, making sure they have water, making sure they're going to the bathroom, making sure, they have a tissue if they're crying. It's the little things, but it's really the medicine and you that do the work. And the power of it is so beautiful. I'm so grateful that there is this perfect plan out there, that the universe sees us and sees that we are in up to our eyeballs, in stuff, and there's no way out but through. Any last thoughts from either one of you? Anything that's on your heart or mind that I haven't asked you, or that you'd like to share with whoever might be this far in our journey together?
I would say don't be afraid to try this. If you're looking at this thinking, wondering, will this work? Yes, it will work. And you need to come in with an intention. What do you want more of? What do you want less of in your life? And just start from that point. This will work. It will work. And it's more amazing than you could ever dream it could work. It's changed our life forever.
Yeah, I just want to share with anybody that's ever done counseling. I've done a good amount. And I always felt like it was great advice. It was just great advice. I just didn't have the mental capacity to do anything with it. Psilocybin gave me that capacity. I always knew it was great advice. I was either ashamed, afraid, or I didn't want to get hurt again, whatever excuse I had. I never implemented it fully. It would stick a little bit, and then life would take over, and I'd slip back. And psilocybin I feel it just opened up different pathways in my brain, pathways that allowed me to think differently, and for it to stick, and for me to really be able to decide, are things good for me or not? And it's just that simple. Want to reach out to any man that's out there that is in a situation where he's done with life and just ready to check out. I encourage you not to. I encourage you, if there's space at the retreat in November, that you come and see me, come and meet me, and take this journey, because it's a game changer. It's a life changer. I can't even tell you how amazing it is. And man, if there's anybody that knows someone in their family that's struggling with suicidal thoughts, do not wait. Do not let someone talk you out of it. Do not get afraid of what the media used to say about, magic mushrooms or whatever. Just trust that you were led to it, and trust that it will actually save them, will actually give them that peace in their mind to just love life again. And if you really want to be there for them, that's the best thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you both. Thank you both so much. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for being so courageous to be a voice in this space. I think this is just the beginning of a new chapter for you, and how you might be able to move forward and advocate for this medicine, advocate for couples using this medicine individually or together, whatever it might be. Mike, I
Mm-hmm.
can't wait to see you again in November.
You're
Sharon, it's such
welcome.
an honor to know you and to just watch your relationship really blossom and be able to find that kindling again, that spark again, from going to, I don't know if we're going to be together,
Mm-hmm.
to Mike's attempt to take his life, to you saying this retreat or the hospital. I mean, all of it. It's like you were just spot on with that intuition and that knowingness and trusting the process. And I'm so grateful that the medicine did what it did and that we were able to hold space for it. It's such an honor. Thank you both so much.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to say bye to everyone else and I'll come back and say bye to you. All right. Thank you all so much for being here on another episode of Ideas to Human Better. Thank you, Mike and Sharon. Thank you to the medicine, and thank you for the means to be able to get this message out to the world. It is such an honor to work and serve in this space. Um, if you know of anyone who needs help and the medicine isn't available, I will make sure to put some information down below where you can reach out and get help. There is help. There are resources. There are people that care out there. There is an answer. You are here for a reason. There are no accidents. And sometimes it just takes a little bit of courage and a little bit of hope to find them. Thank you all again. I love and appreciate each of you. And until next time, be kind to yourself.